Yeah, so villains next week. Welcome y'all to the Patreon exclusive content. This is like the show after the show type of thing. Um,
Yeah.
there was a lot of heroes that we needed to like really get through for
Man.
this list,
Yeah.
and like there's some that like I know like a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy we could have dived in. I know like Star Lord was one
I,
that
I didn't want to put Star Lord on this list, honestly. And that's just because dude kind of messed up stuff in Infinity War. And I get it.
yeah
Dude, Thanos killed his girlfriend,
killed his lady friend.
killed his lady. Like, yeah. Do you care about the rest of the universe when your life is so heavily affected just in that moment? I don't know. That's a whole discussion, but
No, and I mean, then you get into like Gamora, and that she was like thrown, and who knows what's going on with her right now?
literally thrown.
Like thrown from the cliff is what I meant. I said a half sentence. I don't complete my sentences. Here's the Patreon content that you don't know. I don't complete my sentences.
This is the fun stuff about this behind the scenes stuff. This is like the continuation after we've already shot the video, and it's one of those like tired, and we normally don't complete sentences in our day-to-day life anyway. We have to for videos, obviously, but for this, it's just kind of...
Apparently, people want to know what you're saying.
Welcome to the super, like, relaxed part of after shooting a video where you're just hanging out with us and we're kind of just telling you about stuff.
But yeah, like for Gamora, like Gamora and Nebula do kind of have like almost a similar path. I think Gamora hits her like stride to be a hero before Nebula does, well before Nebula.
Like in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it seems like that, and I think if I remember correctly, the comics that Gamora was also kind of more of a villainess.
Yeah.
Earlier, and that she became a hero much quicker.
Yeah.
And then Nebula, of course, followed suit later on in the movies.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Nebula in the comics, though, is that, and I was wondering if they were actually going to do that in the movies, where she would put on the gauntlet and kind of take control of stuff, but I feel like that was just kind of way left field for what they already were doing with the characters.
Yeah, there was a lot that they were trying to do with just Thanos. Yeah, the Nebula wearing the glove would have been way too much.
So here's the interesting thing about how this worked is, obviously we had our discussion about putting this list together and these characters that were on the list. The way I started out before kind of narrowing it down and then kind of running it with you and see if you agreed with the characters on the list as well, chatting and kind of beforehand what it is that we wanted to say necessarily. I just wrote down pretty much every hero that was in the MCU and went, okay, 10 of these guys are going to make it. Everyone else is out. So narrowing it down one by one, like, okay, no, not enough. Like, I mean, I went down to like Wasp. Like, I can't remember. Did I put Korg on there? Like,
Hello, my name's Korg.
hello, my name is Korg. Rock paper scissors. All that kind of. The hammer pulled you off. What? What? And so it was kind of fun to like narrow through. Like, oh man, there's so many of these characters that it was kind of painful to have to narrow it down. Like even to the degree like we didn't have Hawkeye on the list.
Yeah,
Hawkeye is
Hawkeye
one of
had
the
a big
first
arc.
ones. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like there's more weight to putting someone like Nebula or Rocket and kind of their character arcs. Because I'm not saying that Hawkeye doesn't necessarily have a big character arc, but there's had more weight to him. I
The
guess.
only thing I really like, I mean, Hawkeye had like a big character arc in the last, like it basically an Endgame. Endgame was his huge with a little bit in Age of Ultron when they actually revealed that he had a family.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, for the most part, you really haven't seen too much from him. I do like the bit in like Age of Ultron though that they did purposely point out by him doing the throwaway line like there's an army of robots out there and I have a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense.
I love that.
Like I love that line, but it was great to see that just because I know Jeremy Renner has like I know it pops up on my YouTube feed all the time. He was on one of the Tonight Show or late night shows doing a piano medley of him singing about just how utterly useless Hawkeye is with the bow and arrow. But again, he didn't have that full on hero stride until probably Endgame.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the interesting thing about Hawkeye specifically is I feel like they were playing a lot of catch up with him throughout the entire MCU, and that's probably why I didn't feel like he should probably be on our list here. Is that, you know, the first Avengers, he spent most of the movie under mind control. Everybody knows that. Second movie, they played catch up. Second Avengers movie, they played catch up with him to be like, no, let's dive into his actual character. And then he wasn't present at all for Infinity War, and then he was in Endgame.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You mentioned like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Ant-Man was a good character. Only the thing about Ant-Man that really sticks out to me is more of the fact that it was Paul Rudd playing him.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I love that casting, by the way.
First, I have to backtrack.
Okay.
I still think, I still kind of believe, even though I really love the Ant-Man movies, that doing an Ant-Man movie was utterly ridiculous. When I first heard that, I was like, why? Out of every one you could do a movie. And first of all, why are we getting an Ant-Man movie before we get a Black Widow movie? Like, Black Widow, even at that time, was already deserving of her
Spiders
own movie.
before ants.
Yeah, apparently. But, so they did an Ant-Man movie. Again, I was like, I'm going to go see it because I'm a fan.
It's the MCU. They've earned our trust by that point.
But why? And I'm still like, why?
Maybe not completely.
Why? Why do we need an Ant-Man movie? But I get it, and I like him. I really do like him. But going back to what I was saying before was I'm more impressed with Paul Rudd being able to play this hero role, because he comes from just straight like Judd Apatow comedies into this, where he's in Civil War, he's fighting on the battlefield of that airport with everyone else too. Like, that's just insane.
Anybody got any orange slices? The thing about Ant-Man and his impact within the MCU is more so based on the tech and the science side of it, not necessarily him as a character.
Yeah.
All that tech could exist if it was Hank Pym as a young person instead of Scott Lang's, you know.
Which is what was in the comics. Scott Lang was not the primary. Hank Pym was Ant-Man.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be the same character-wise no matter what. The tech is what drove that. The other one that's kind of funny to leave off would be like Winter Soldier, because there's a lot of like story behind Bucky as well.
Yeah.
Just having been, you know, Steve's friend back in the day, and then he also, like, through whatever dark magic Hydra was able to pull off, survived and made it to the future as well. Man, Steve really lucked out on that one, actually. I mean, I know he had to like battle through him kind of being mind warped and brainwashed and stuff, but man, at least you got your best friend in the future with you.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else,
lucked out on that one. I mean, you probably wanted Peggy, but, you know, hey, beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't get a peg, I'll get a buck. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know what that means, and I'm going to continue not knowing what that means.
Feeling that means something else in some other language.
Probably. There's a lot of stuff there. I mean, you talk about Steve's buddies, you talk about Falcon. Falcon's such a great character also. Yeah. The whole On Your Left stuff is just great. We talked about Wanda. Vision made a big impact in such a small time period because it was kind of pivotal with him in like Infinity War.
Well, the thing, I almost would argue in some cases, and let us know what y'all think on this, but for Vision, I would almost also argue you got to include Jarvis in there, because it is still Paul Bettany doing the voice.
That's true.
And pretty much all of what we knew of Jarvis was just Paul Bettany's voice. His inflection that he would say, the way it was monotone. It was very robotic because he's an AI. But then they still translated that over to Vision, along with, you now see his face. You get the expressions along with that tone of voice.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. It fit very well.
It's funny, I didn't have Paul Bettany in my mind when I was thinking about who played the Vision. I was thinking someone completely different.
Yeah.
But the way they did it, bringing Jarvis and making Jarvis such a big piece of Vision, it's like, okay. Oh, Paul Bettany's Vision.
Wait, that makes sense.
Wait. No, this makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Man, they're geniuses.
Yeah.
That's the thing about these. Like,
in Feige we trust.
In Feige we trust. Like, all what they do with these characters is just amazing. I'm trying to think, like, there's so many heroes. There's just so many heroes to try to remember.
Yeah, let us know. Oh, wait, this isn't interactive right now.
I mean, let us know on Patreon.
there
Actually,
anyone-
Discord. You can let us know on the Discord.
Is there anyone else on here? Like, I think we got everyone covered pretty much that's up here.
Not in the MCU
Not in the
yet.
MCU,
Not in the
not
MCU
MCU
yet. War Machine.
We actually did have one back here that kind of reminded us.
War Machine. Yeah. So
he's had a weird arc.
He's another one that was like one person and then became somebody completely different by the second movie.
Well, literally.
Yeah. It's me. I'm here. Deal with it.
I love that line. That line was done like purposely for that. I like him because he was like essentially like Tony's buddy.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got their like little buddies of it. In which case I can mention real quick. We'll probably talk more about him like next week or so. But like say Loki, it was essentially Thor's buddy.
Yeah.
That one is a little more troubled. But I mean, like our top three easily has their little buddies that they talk to that they pal around with.
Yeah.
And I like that just because the characters are there for emotional support, if nothing else. But they are great characters on their own as well. I think they did good with Rhodey. But he's had some questionable things that he's done, like taking the War Machine armor off to Hammer, for Hammer to turn into the like the Iron Patriot. Or
he couldn't have known that was going to happen.
That was I mean,
it's questionable. It's definitely questionable.
It's questionable because Tony definitely didn't want the government to get it, and then he just ups and takes the armor to the government.
But like, I get it from that standpoint because like Tony is not in the right frame of mind at that point, so
we got to do something.
Not to be trusted. Got to do something. Kind of show him what's up.
Because he pissed his armor. How do you go to the bathroom in one of these? Just like that.
Yeah. The other big one that I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't find a spot for on the list was Doctor Strange.
I want to say he's still fairly new.
He's only had one movie under his belt.
Yeah, we basically went from him...
Not counting the Avengers movies.
Yeah, but we've gone from him also being an a-hole straight into now I'm this like mystic arts guy. A-hole. Like he still kind of acts like that. I mean, he's just all-knowing now, but he still has this kind of like awe of I'm smarter than you, I know everything.
Yeah.
He's a lot like me in real life, I guess. You can attest to that.
Except that he is actually smarter and...
Hey! Punk.
Well, I mean, you kind of walked into that one.
No, I didn't. I've been sitting here the whole time.
Walked right into it. Yeah, no, that is... Yeah. That is the thing about Doctor Strange, though, is that there is a lot of room for that character to still grow and do more. And that's kind of like why I didn't include other characters like Captain Marvel and so on. There's just a lot more room for those characters. And then you got like side characters like Valkyrie and just...
Yeah, we haven't seen anything from him yet. And this is what I anticipate for this list in particular, which is kind of a part of the reason we wanted to get the top 10 out now, is as the MCU continues every year after year, this might be a list that we will come back and revisit. Say like after Captain Marvel 2, will there have been enough of an arc over the movies that we've seen Captain Marvel in to start incorporating her into the top 10? Could she potentially surpass some heroes enough to, at this point, knock Hulk off the end of it? Is that possible? This is a list that we could revisit. This could be a living list.
It's probable. I really feel like I stuck Hulk on there because we stuck Hulk on there just because he's been in the MCU forever.
He has, but he's had a really good arc. And
That's true.
Kind of like what I said in the video is that I'm not a huge Hulk fan, but I like what they've done with him, and I would like to see another solo Hulk movie. So
yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, I go back to like Black Panther. Like I'm super sad we don't get more with T'Challa. Mm-hmm. Like obviously, I'm just generally sad that we don't have Chadwick Boseman because he's such a talent. He was such a talented actor. I loved all the movies that he's been in and the stuff that he's done, but that we don't get more of him as Black Panther now. Like that's a huge thing. I am very interested in seeing what they do with that movie. Maybe they raise Shuri up and she does actually take on the role of Black Panther.
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible.
Well, no, I'm saying because of current like social media stuff.
I get it. It's still possible. It's still possible.
Yeah.
That option isn't out of the window yet. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that they can still do. Maybe they give it to M'Baku. Maybe
That's the
maybe
one.
Okoye steps in.
That I mean,
somehow.
Either one of them actually is what I would really like to see. I do like if Shuri is still incorporated into this world. I do like her still kind of being like the overall tech goddess of Wakanda, and that's what they've seemingly made her in these movies.
I think it's really going to depend on how they explain T'Challa's character, how they write his character out of it.
Yeah.
Really. But man, there's so many heroes. I think definitely a future list could look very different than what we've got this time. It's going to be fun to actually kind of go back and revisit this list again, and then chat about it again afterwards too.
Yeah,
we might actually have completely separate lists at the same time at that point too.
Yeah, probably.
So many more characters. But anyway, these kinds of things, I don't know necessarily how we wrap them up. You're on the Patreon. Thank you so much for being a patron. You're getting kind of this bonus content, these thoughts afterwards, kind of get into our thought processes over how we came up with the list and everything. It's kind of fun stuff. I actually really enjoy this. I really look forward to doing this. Like we said in the video, though, we got villains next week, so gonna be some fun stuff. Kind of probably do the same thing for the Patreon content for the villains after the fact too. So yeah.
Anyways, thank y'all for being patrons of us. We hope you like the content. You can still like and comment on this video as well. It still helps, I guess.
It's still uploaded to
YouTube algorithm thing. So yeah, make sure to do that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day.
See you later. I mean, I can't really see you, but it's not the point.
Bye! Before we make this more awkward. Too late. Yeah, so the Hulk is a big presence in the MCU, both literally and both. I can't say it.
Okay.
Both literally. Well, that's not what I'm trying to say.
And figuratively.
Literary.
Literarily.
Yeah, literarily.
Probably try to choose words that you can say.
Literal from a literary standpoint, and physically. Literal. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Both in books and in film.
Sounds good. Moving on to number 9, it's Spider-Man. Everybody's favorite web sleeving.
Pace yourself. It's going to be a long night.
Web slinging.
Hash slinging slasher.
Hash slinging. Hey, where's that Spider-Man, man? I'm low on my stuff. I need that hash slung.
That was a SpongeBob reference.
Coming in at number 9, it's Spider-Man, everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood web swinging superhero. No!
Everyone's favorite neighborhood Spider-Man.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
You got this. I believe in you. We only have an hour and 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Is the AC on?
Yes.
Oh, good Lord.
Coming in at number 9, it's Spider-Man, everyone's favorite web slings. It's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I can't say Spider-Man and then what friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That sounds stupid. Favorite web slinging superhero.
Coming in at number 9, it's Spider-Man, everyone's favorite webhead.
Yeah. All right, we're two white guys talking about Black Panther and how we emotionally connect with him.
I'm wearing purple.
I'm way too white to talk about this.
I'm wearing purple. It's too bad I probably can't include that anywhere.
I know.
That's for our $1,000 patrons who get us, who really get us.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, he's definitely relatable. That entire biceps and pectorals and so relatable. I relate so hard.